Welcome back to the show. Joining us now is Sam Zakutney. He's on the Artistic Gymnastics Canadian Junior National Team. He's also a student at Franco-Cité. Sam, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. So just tell us a little bit about what you do. It's not something that we cover on the show very often, so bring us through, what is artistic gymnastics?
Well, it's basically a sport where there are 6 events involved. There's the floor, the pommel horse, rings, vault, parallel bars, and high bar. And being an all-around gymnast, I compete all 6. And I train around 22 hours a week, 4 hours a day. Train from like 4:30 to 8:30 every day after school. And that's pretty much it.
So how'd you get into it in the first place?
I actually started maybe when I was around 5 or 6 years old. How I first got into it, I think it was my old neighbors back when I lived on Folliston Street in the Greenboro community, I think. My old neighbor, she just saw me, I guess, doing a couple back rolls off the couch, and she kind of just recommended my parents to just kind of enroll me in the sport. And ever since then, I've just gone consistently better, and I just kind of never looked back.
So for gymnastics, a lot of the time for people, it's like something they do when they're younger, but they kind of stop doing it. Was there a moment for you when you were younger that you knew, like, this is something that I really want to do?
I'd have to say so. Yeah, because I don't know, no matter what the group I was with, I always felt like everything seemed a little bit too easy, and I actually had to jump a lot of like recreational levels, and at some point I'd be placed with guys that are a little bit older than me, but I'd still be doing stuff as clean and as good as they are. And I guess one day when I was like 7, some guy, I jumped around to a lot of recreational gyms like Star Gymnastics. I went to Les Citelles like twice, and it was at Les Citelles that a recreational coach told my parents, like, this kid has got to go into a competitive program. He's got to go somewhere else. He's too good for here. And so, and then that was when I started my pre-competitive preparation, and then into the competitive season. And since the age of 8, I've been kind of working provincially. And then at the age of 10, I went to my first Eastern Championships. And then at the age of 11, I went to my first nationals, and I've been going to nationals ever since.
You're the only junior national team member who is in Ottawa. Is that difficult, not having your other teammates around to push you and to kind of just share ideas?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that's why I always enjoy going to all the training camps and all the competitions, seeing the guys around. Because even though we live like maybe 5 hours away in terms of driving, we still feel like brothers all the time. And so I really take advantage of those opportunities. But I guess a good way of pushing myself is just watching their video montages on Instagram or YouTube. And sometimes I can find that intimidating, or kind of like, sometimes I'll interpret it as a wake-up call, just in case I'm slacking too much at the gym, which I rarely do, but if ever that time comes.
When you go to nationals or when you're at other Team Canada things, I'm sure you bump shoulders with the senior members of the team. What have you learned from being able to work with them?
Well, it really just boils down to experience. They don't seem to get too nervous under pressure that easily, and I've only been to, I'd say, maybe 3 international meets so far in my career. And no, scratch that, I've actually been to 4. But I guess they've all been to like many world championships and Commonwealth Games and plenty of World Cup championships. And so just that experience is really the only difference between me and them, I think, at this point. Because in terms of like skill set, like difficulty of routines, I feel like I'm on their level. So
you've been to over 40 competitions, you brought home 150 plus medals, you were just talking about a couple of the national events. Has there been one moment so far that's really stood out to you as your favorite moment?
I'd have to say my favorite moment was when I competed in Japan for the Junior Japan International competition in September. The end of September of last year, and honestly, that would have been the farthest I've ever flown. I've gone to Brazil, and I've been a lot in Europe, more specifically like Belgium and Germany. But no, I've never really been to Japan before, and it was really, really nice environment, and everybody there are like gymnastic fanatics, so a lot of people attended this comp, and there was a lot of cheering and everything. But to be honest, so the very first day was the all-around competition, where you mentioned before, it's where you calculate the combined score of all 6 apparatus. That day honestly didn't go as well as I had hoped, but I managed to make the high bar final, which was the next day. And so the day after that, I did pretty much the best high bar routine I ever done, and I ended with a stuck dismount and just finish. And I guess just that moment, landing on my feet without flinching at all, and just knowing that I couldn't have done it any better, and like I didn't hold back at all. It was such a great relief, and then just hearing everybody cheer at the end, and then everybody congratulating me afterwards. It was a really unforgettable moment.
You talk about going to Japan there, you're going all over for different events, and you're still going to school, and I'm sure you want to have friends and hang out. How do you be able to manage being a high-level athlete with all the other commitments that anyone else your age would have?
Well, my high school offers a really good elite sports program, in which they're able to modify my schedule just in case I don't miss too many important classes, as well as my teachers, they tend to rely a lot on making their own websites where they post all the different lessons that they've taught. So I really just refer myself to that whenever I'm off overseas or for provincial meets. So that's really the way I catch up.
Final question for you. You're off to Penn State next year, biomedical engineering, quite the degree. Yeah. What was it about Penn State and that degree that made you go there?
I really just, in terms of their engineering program, they seemed to be very confident, and just had a lot of different choices. And I'd have to say, what really struck me was how every semester they organize this little convention where a bunch of different representatives of different companies and pretty much companies, they show up to kind of give undergraduates and graduates the opportunity for future job offers. So I really enjoyed that. I was really impressed by that, and I really connected with the team, the gymnastics team, when I first got there. They already kind of welcomed me in, and I felt really comfortable. And I really enjoy the coaches. They're really nice, very supporting. And really just the campus and the team spirit is incredible. Not even just the athletes, but just the entire campus and alumni. They're all crazy for Penn State. I don't think I saw one student that wasn't wearing some sort of Penn State merchandise. They really love that school.
Well, Sam, you got a busy couple months ahead of you, and then it's going to be even busier when you go to Penn State. Hopefully we see you in the Olympics too, so thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me once again.
That's all the time we have for this week's edition of High School Sports Zone. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week.